Okay, so now that this is all nice looking, show you how messed up my priorities are. Have it up in the air so that I can identify why that is full of gas. I guess I'll have to get more gas and put it back in there to find out, but I think it's pretty obvious looking at that. Looks like a good place for fuel to come out. Or anywhere else, I don't know. I'm gonna find out here in a minute. So, but while I got all this off, I'm going to clean this wheel well and so on. Alright, so I'm laying on my red blanket with the red car. Change fuel filter. And the fact that that is pressurized, it was like when I first did it, when I first opened it, tells me that the fuel pumps work, which is good. But again, I think this is the reason for my incessant fuel leak, because I can't keep gas in this car. I literally put 2 gallons in it last night. It came out this morning. I didn't have 2 gallons in it. I had 2 gallons in here. So I guess we're gonna let that drain out. I'm gonna loosen up this one back here, and get this changed out, get this old gas out of the way. And I think actually too that this accumulator is bad, because the previous owner told me that after the car got hot, it wouldn't start back up, and that is a symptom of this fuel accumulator not doing its job. It basically is supposed to keep fuel pressure moving forward. It's not doing that when it gets warmer. Alright, the filter's in. Notice there's a line missing. That's this line. I broke that part that goes to the accumulator. This goes into the hose up to the tank. And this goes to the pump itself, and I could see it just leaking right through there, and you can kind of see some daylight through there if you really tried to. So yeah, I have to replace this guy. So I have just left the Indy here, the local Indy. Picked up a set of fuel pumps, and the fuel filter comes with it, even though I just did that, and the accumulator and the hoses. So I got the hose that I'm after that was leaking, and if I need the fuel pumps, which I don't think I will, it's good to have an extra pair, just because the car's been sitting for so long. And the accumulator, I believe that I need, based on the research that I've done. The previous owner of the car told me that once it got warm, it didn't want to start back up. And from the research that I did, that means that the accumulator is failing because it's not keeping fuel pressure up front. So I have an extra accumulator, I have extra fuel pumps, I have the line that I need, and now also just an extra filter, even though I'm just going to toss that. But I should get that back on the car here this afternoon, and I'm going to see if I can actually get it to run. Also, I want to add in that I'm really excited about this car the more that I work on it. There's something about Mercedes-Benz engineering that, obviously they're very over-engineered, but while that's true, they are also ridiculously simple. And I don't know if that's because they're over-engineered, or if that's just ironic or oxymoronic. But everything is Phillips screws, 10 millimeter here and there. I honestly feel like BMW is also over-engineered, but in a way more complex. Everything about the Mercedes, so far anyway, it looks complicated, especially like the mechanical fuel distribution, but that's the key. It's so mechanically engineered that everything is just bafflingly simple, but also efficient. I don't, and this, mind you, I'm just coming from the perspective of having worked on almost solely BMWs for the past decade. Actually, yeah, Yeah, I'll be coming up on a decade next month. February 15th is when I bought my first BMW, an H24, from a good buddy of mine. So, yeah, coming up on a decade of just working on BMWs. I mean, I've done a little bit of work here and there with Mercedes. Like, I actually worked on another SL 2 years ago or so, and it was a 107. And it also surprised me at how simple that car was. Granted, they produced it for almost 20 years, and the one I worked on, I think, was an 84. So you're still looking at some pretty simple stuff. But what shocks me, though, and the reason I bring that up is the 129 is so much like the 107, but like an evolution of it, but in a good way. But I'm still surprised it's such a quality car. I mean, the quality is remarkable. And especially the price point of it, which is reflective of the quality. It's just bafflingly simple. It's really interesting. So that didn't work. 190E stuff is different than 129 stuff. Shocking. So what I'm going to do is the fact that one end of that hose is clamped onto the accumulator from the T. I'm like, all right, I'm going to clamp the other end. I just need to see if this thing runs. Before I really start like dumping money into like brand new shit, I need to make sure that that I'm on the right path. I'm chasing the right thing. So I'm going to get a double male barbed nipple and a little bit more fuel hose and clamp that shit. I gotta see if the car runs. Now, worst case, I have an extra pair of fuel pumps because the accumulator also didn't fit because, well, the thread's slightly different on that too. Why is Mercedes like this? Is this what Mercedes ownership is like? Anyway, yeah, at least I have fuel pumps. Those appear to be the same. If not, anybody needs some 190 stuff? Alright, so I just had to share this. So this hose comes out of the tank, which is like directly above me. And, well, it's pretty rotten as well. So I replaced all the hoses that are, in all of this section. But then I put gas in it and it was fine until I lowered the car. Right now it's jacked up. Until I lowered the car, all the gas came over toward the pickup and started sloshing out and going back into there. Well, I wanted to share that according to the book, you're supposed to take the half shaft out here, the axle, and, well, first off, I don't even have the 12-point bits that it takes to do that. So what I did was I took this 22mm Harbor Freight wrench and I stuck it way up in there like this. It's kind of difficult to tell with the reflection of the wrench, but I got it to bite around that nut that's up there. And as a result of this, I took, well, I guess in result of this, I ended up making happen. So with that, I took another wrench and I put it in there and then turned it while keeping it, keeping pressure on it going upward. I turned it and son of a bitch, I got it loose. Got this bit, it goes up in there, comes down, and I actually cut this a little bit shorter because I thought that just this end of it was fucked up. No, I put more gas in it last night and that just, mind you, this goes directly into the fuel tank, like right above me. So gravity says fuel's gonna come down and right out. That's exactly what it did. Made a huge mess in here, very stinky mess. So I got some options here. I don't know that my first plan is going to work. It's kind of nasty in there anyway. But I don't really want to pay for another hose, bro. It's $100. this is $100 right here, just because of this. Like, this is regular ass fuel hose, and it's $100 because of hydraulic fitting style end. So my first idea, I don't know if it's gonna work at all, but I'm gonna take it in town and try, is I'm gonna cut this off and see if they can't crimp a new piece of hose on here, because I have hose. I always got hose. I'm going to cut this end off here and see if they can't crimp on a new piece of fuel hose that doesn't look like that. And from there, that should solve my fuel leak, because everything else from this down has been replaced. So yeah, this was kind of a bitch to get out, because again, it's, can't even see, there we go, it's way up there. So what I actually had to do was take my socket, or my wrench, this isn't it, but I had to take another wrench and put it up there and use this wrench on this end to turn the whole thing and get that out piece by piece, thread by thread. So I got it out. I'm about to take it in town and see what I can do with it. So this is my solution for that. Very tightly clamped. Again, it's just a barb into there, which I think is stupid. Put this back about in the original spot. That kind of secures this to the body away from the axles. Also, before going in, I could already tell I was going to have some difficulty, so I put some PV blaster and some WD-40 on this end so that this spins freely, because this is a very fine thread, and getting it to start inside the hole is going to be very difficult, because I only got one hand to do it. Anyway, let's go on back in. Once I get this back in and everything back together, the car should run without leaks, I hope.
A few moments later.
Well, my trick worked so far. Just gotta blow a lot of shit out for sure. I'm not seeing any leaks, so I think what I did worked. Let it run for a minute. It's already starting to fill the garage up. I gotta get it out. Small miss. That'll probably go away. Anyway, I got that done. It doesn't leak gas anymore, so that's cool. It's a 5/8 inch hose, which is large for a fuel hose. And it had 3 holes in it. So it's quite a large volume of fuel going through it. And it had 3 big ass holes. So yeah, all the gas I put in it came right back out twice, because I didn't know that there were 3 holes. I thought there were just 2. So took care of that. I have noticed in just a few days of owning this car, and I should have done a little bit more research before getting into it, that 129s are not common in the Midwest, or even in the South. And my second place to check was over in Atlanta, because that's, I know a few people over there that are cruising and stuff like that, and most of these cars, which makes sense, were in California, Beverly Hills, so on and so forth. You would think that with how many they sold, especially when they first came out, that they'd be everywhere. No. So yes, this is a place where I only know of 1, maybe 2 of these cars. Hopefully I can get at least one of the things, or maybe 1 or 2 of the things that I need, and make something happen. At the very least, I mean, if this is too muddy, which it very likely will be, considering how much it rained yesterday, I can at least get some eyes on this car or these cars and see what's available that I might need to pull and come back and pull it. But this is going to be a good resource. Now, with BMWs, the reason I said I should have done more research, I'm so used to knowing where all the BMWs in the state are. I mean, at least in the middle of the state. And I know what's where, what has what parts, so on and so forth. Mercedes, me being new to that, I don't know so much. So yeah. He's also got, other Benzes out here. He's got a 126 Euro model, a couple 140s. What is it? The 210 that's out here. So he's got some Mercedes, and I know that some of these parts kind of interchange with some things are also very specific to the 129, which is kind of not my favorite part. He's got more 107s than 129s, but they made a fuckload of those for 20 years, so it makes sense. Anyway, pulling up, and we're gonna see what we can find. Stay tuned. So yeah, he's also got other Benzes out here. He's got a 126 Euro model, a couple 140s. What is it? The 210 that's out here. So he's got some Mercedes, and I know that some of these parts kind of interchange, but some things are also very specific to the 129, which is kind of not my favorite part. He's got more 107s than 129s, but they made a fuckload of those for 20 years, so it makes sense. Anyway, pulling up, and we're gonna see what we can find. Stay tuned. We in this bitch. It's very muddy already where I'm at. Ugh. Control arm. Anyway, we're here. Thank God for ATVs. I'm gonna walk that shit. This is not fun. I might gotta go back. I don't know if I can get through them. Looks just like mine. Exactly like mine. Oh. But we should be able to find something in here that we can use. And then over here we've got the white one, which is the one I knew about. I forgot this one was here, but the white one is still available as well. Or halfway, 50% off. We're gonna look in here and see what I can find on this, and see what I can find on that. So after a very cold afternoon in the yard, it's yeah, let's get a little bit out there. Whew! I got some stuff. I looked at my list and I checked a few things. I mean, none of those things are particularly going to make it run better at this juncture, but I got a couple cosmetic things. I got the engine cover. I got both air boxes, because mine's missing one. I got the tubes that run down into the front of the car from the air boxes, so that part is cool. I was not able to locate a cover for the computers and stuff. I have to source that from somewhere. The convertible top was, to my surprise, one of those had a top on it still, the red one did. And I pulled it out, and the back window's a similar state as mine. The cloth's in good shape, so that's something worth considering, but I'll probably just buy a new top for it. For all the nastiness and work, taking them off twice, all that shit. What else did I get? That's really it. I got the engine stuff, but it's better than nothing. Alright, so I got it running. It's in reverse now. Put it in neutral or in park and idle super high. Watch this. See the way the motor just jumped up? I'll probably have to do a motor mount. That's a neutral. It's in drive. Not that bad. It really winds up. It wants to go. But in reverse, it is a torquey son of a bitch. Well, it goes. Very shaky. These tires are bricks, but it goes. Also, the brakes work really well. Power steering's nice, but again, these tires are not it. I mean, this thing's kind of all over the fucking place because A, they're low on air, but they've been sitting for forever in their 20s. I mean, there's not a whole lot to. She's bogging a little bit. I give it more gas, nothing happens. That just up, she's dead. Back in neutral. Starts up fine, revs fine. Put it in gear, and like nothing ever. Up, never. Oh, this car is fun. Now I'm doing ignition stuff, where we got these guys, vintage spec spark plugs. Those are going in, and checking the rest of the ignition stuff and vacuum leaks. Now that the car runs anyways, first time I've really been able to run it and drive it. Yeah, man, over 1500, it does not like it. I put it back in neutral. Heat works well. That's a neutral. Put it in drive. Yeah, so 1300, 1400, 15. Crash. Take your foot off the gas, it recovers, or it dies. You see it's kind of... Yeah, it's a stall. Put it in neutral. Back in drive. And then it's just fine. So I'm gonna have to do some looking into all that and see what's up with it. But yeah, the heat works nice. Got the fucking roll bar down. I kind of like it. So I did say that I was gonna try to figure out some of these engine issues and inspect some other things. So today I pulled out one of the spark plugs for inspection. I'll be honest, I don't know a ton about spark plugs as far as like how they look. I mean, that's a little bit black on the end, but I mean, that's Jesus Christ, I get the fucking focus. There you go. Yeah, a little black on the end, but I don't think it looks that bad for real, because no, looking at the rest of this, it looks like it's in good shape. All around there, like I said, at 91,000 miles, if these are really changed every 40, so new would be 40,000, second set 80,000. These are either young or they're overdue. I think they're young if this is the third set of spark plugs. However, I don't know if they're the right ones. From what I've looked up, it's supposed to be very specific, and I don't even know if it's supposed to be a 4-prong or not, but I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna take this in town, grab a new set, get them put in, because it's pretty easy, especially with the handy dandy spark plug tool from Mercedes. You just shove it down in there and pull her up. I do think I have a vacuum leak that's somewhere in my idle setup here. My idle control valve's right there. It doesn't do anything when I unplug it, and then when spraying starter fluid in this direction, it brings it back down. So I think we're pulling in something. I don't know. But also, I'm going to pull this off, and I'm going to pull off the caps and rotors to inspect those, and see how those are looking, and just kind of go through bit by bit to make sure that this is going to be a reliable engine, because like I said, I bought this car not to replace that, but to not drive either one of those every day, and this one's being sold. So yeah,